Welcome to Decades, hosted by Chris Rubio. Decades is a show made up of 5 generations of people brought together to discuss topics you wouldn't normally talk about with others. The goal of the show is to learn by having some good, possibly heated discussions, without losing the simple fact that it's okay to talk to different people with different opinions other than your own.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Decades. This is our 14th episode of Decades Live The Mission. I want to welcome you all here watching on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you might be. Please remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and all that stuff. We got a great show tonight. Going to be discussing many different topics, just having some fun. We got our Canadian friend Guy with us. We got Crazy Man, my one friend here in the neighborhood. We got Jim, the nature boy. Woo! Scranna with us, and we got, as always, Alex on tech. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? We coming in strong and hot?
Yep.
You know what?
Is that our first topic? How we doing?
No, we're going to put that in the middle. I want us to.
I like it.
No, you're good. No, see, Jim, we're going to share. We're going to share. Well, first of all, we got to give a shout out to our missing comrade. You know, Chris Rubio of Rubio Long Snapping. Remember, if your son's a long snapper, you got to check that out. Rubio has the premier camps and is the premier coach worldwide of that. But he can't join us due to family obligation. We miss you, Rubio. Well, we'll have you back here soon, and I'll hold down the fort. Probably be better than you would have, but you know, y'all can't be me. Anyway, okay.
It's not Rono.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's Rona this time, as he would say. I think it's something else. I don't know. It's he said it was family. Anyway, all right, everybody, let's talk about this. Yes, Jim.
Topic. I got a story. So
okay, go ahead.
Somebody else we're missing tonight is our panelist, our Decadian, Kyle Baker. I think he's in his 20s. No, I know he's in his 20s. So I think I told the story about how I ran into Kyle or met Kyle for the first time. But today I'm at my physical therapist office and he's working on me. And I know this guy outside of him being my physical therapist. And he's talking to one of his patients who is this elderly guy named Reggie. The guy's amazing. But he's an archaeologist or was an archaeologist. And I didn't know that. So therapist starts talking about how he dropped his kid off at Rowan University, and that's where my son goes. And we've had those discussions before. And his son's a senior, and he's talking about the house he lives in. And he's like, yeah. He's like, they're a good group of kids. And he's like, there's this one guy there that majors in, he's like a double major and a minor, like archaeology and something else. So I'm listening because he's not really talking to me about it, but in the PT therapy room, everybody's talking about all kinds of stuff, you know. So he gets finished and he comes over to me. He's like, you done your reps or whatever? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, that kid is his name, Kyle. And sure enough, in the small, tiny little world we live in, South Jersey, he was talking about Kyle. So it was hilarious.
No way.
Yeah, because he starts telling me, and he does this podcast, and I'm going like this. I'm like, I know, you know. So
oh, no way.
Hopefully,
no way. So
somebody... Kyle's going to jump on because my physical therapist will probably be tuning in. I hope he does. Anyway.
So that is degrees to Kevin Bacon.
Right. That is very cool. I love to hear when somebody's talking about one of the guys on the show about, and one of the things they bring up is that he's on the show. That's very cool.
He wanted to tell our boy Kyle that he was super impressed by him, and so was I. I mean, that was what drew me to saying this kid needs to be on the show. So anyway,
he is. Well, you know what? I am gonna do the old switcheroo, changeroo. Let's talk about how everybody's doing first, because I want Kyle to be part of the conversation about the whole Jan 6 thing that I was talking about, that some of our panelists are scared about. So Let's do a check-in. And just for those who are new to the show and those who might not remember, one of the things that we are very that's very important to us here at Decades, and it just the whole mission is mental health, men's mental health. We always want to check in, and just always remember to check in with your friends. A lot of people are out there struggling in silence, and they're carrying the burden. So when just hey, buddy, how you doing? That's all it takes. And the buddy who's struggling needs to remember to be honest. That's the other thing. And
check in with family too, not just friends. Check in with family. Family,
friends, very good, Jim. Yeah, family, friends. Help is no longer a 4-letter word, and believe me, I am one who I have to remind myself. So, Jim, since you like to talk, I'll let you have the floor first. Since you started us, how you doing, man?
I told you I had a good nap.
I mean, you had a good nap. You're in strong, but you started school on your birthday. Jim just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Jim.
Yep. Thank you. It's 50 birthday now because it's.
So how you? Yeah, I just turned double nickels over the weekend. Yeah. So we're all getting. Oh, thank you, Jim. We're all getting old here. And just I'm going to give it here. I'm going to give it. Our mutual friend. Yourself. Our mutual friend Phil Martelli, if he's watching, I don't know if he watches or if it gets back to him. Happy birthday to him. He shares my birthday. You know how old he turned?
65?
Nope.
73.
No, he's going to come down on you. No, he only turns. From what I understand, he was 70 this birthday. So
I said that to rib him a little bit.
I know. If he's watching,
funny you brought him up. So as the other guys are getting bored, us talking about our St. Joe's coach, but Phil was on. Philly's game was on recently. Was on a nationally televised game. I think it was ESPN.
And they wished him a happy birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. My mom texted me that because she was watching the game.
Right.
They wished Phil a happy birthday because he was.
He was shoveling popcorn down his throat. It was great. He was hammering it. It was
excellent. Great. Way to go.
Yeah.
So Jim.
So
how are you doing?
Doing well. I am, and a lot of that is because you have to tell yourself you're doing well. It's better to tell yourself you're doing well than say you're not doing well. So
that's right.
The mindset is there. For me, my mental health is closely tied to my physical health. So I do have some physical issues going on. I was talking about being in PT, but you can't go around talking about your physical ailments to people because everybody's going to be like, dude, stop talking. I'm 10 years older than you or whatever. So for me, it's just trying to stay ahead of the aging game, which is extremely difficult. And, Guy, I started to watch your episode with Michael, and I got to get back on a little bit better eating habits. And habits are different than what you're eating. So if it's a bad habit along with bad food, like I was just in there, and I found myself hammering away at some salt and vinegar chips that I like. And I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, but they're there.
So does that mean, Jim, so would you say my son and wife made fudge over the weekend, homemade fudge, and sticking your face in the homemade fudge and just kind of hammering on that, that's a bad thing? And it's not sugar-free fudge.
I wouldn't have went for the fudge, but if that's your thing, yeah.
That's not my thing. That was there. Yeah. It was one of those things where it was there, and it was like, okay, I'll start.
Fudge wouldn't reel me in. Nah.
Okay. How about cookies?
Oh yeah, I'll eat a cookie.
Yeah, I had crumbled cookies for one of my birthday gatherings. I love cookies.
Funny you say that. Does everybody have crumbled cookie where they are?
Yeah.
You have any idea what we're talking about?
No clue.
It's like, go ahead, Jim.
My daughter loves crumbled cookies. Came home twice in the past 2 weeks with a giant box of ridiculously priced cookies.
Yep.
All kinds of different flavors. I mean, the one thing didn't look like a cookie. It looked like a piece of cake or pie or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it's ridiculous. But no, I don't even want that stuff in the house. If it were up to me, it wouldn't come through the door. And then I wouldn't have any temptation.
They're homemade big cookies. The cookies are about 1,500 calories a piece. We actually cut them in quarters and eat them in quarters because a serving is a quarter of the cookie is one serving. So there's like 4 servings in a cookie. So we actually cut them like that. But they are, I'm a cookie monster. And they are the freaking bomb.
A lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar. They probably have multiple sticks of butter. It's everything that Doc and Chef would say.
Yeah. So
but that's all right.
You can always work it off with me.
Yeah.
X3.
All right.
I also got we got an empty nest. So my daughter's at college. She's a senior, and my son is a freshman. So both kids are in college for 1 year. So that's going to take a little bit to get used to. Some of it's going to be great.
Jim, where's your daughter going?
To Westchester.
Oh, she goes to Westchester. Okay. I didn't remember.
You're going to find out on the heating bill, the water, the hot water bill, the electricity. You're going to be. You're
going to their heating bill and water bill and tuition and
All right, Guy, I'm moving on, Jim. You'll have more time to talk.
Oh, I know.
Guy, how you doing up there in Canada, my friend? How's life? What's going on?
Last few days have been good. Those of you guys on the panel that are on Slack might have seen that I vented a little bit there last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a challenging couple of weeks. I've been working on I'm planning on contributing to a book on men's mental health called The Unseen Battles, and I'm going to pitch it right now because Heather reached out to me today saying that she's still looking for collaborators. So if you guys have personal stories or poems or anything like that,
tell Heather to reach out to me. I have stuff.
Okay. So I've been working on that, and kind of my creative process has been to go over my entire life story basically. So I was already kind of emotionally invested in that and fragile, so to speak. And last week I got the news that the nonprofit organization that I've been working with for the last 2 years just decided to call it quits. And
that sucks.
Well, yeah, and it did suck because I was looking forward to seeing the final product. We were building basically a venue where we could have performances done. So we had like a concession, a stage, and all that stuff, and we put a lot of work into it. A lot of man hours, a lot of emotions, and all that. And just to kind of one day see it, it's over. We're not moving forward with it. It was a big hit for me, and what hurt me the most was just to find out through social media. You know what I mean? I would have liked to have been able to have a conversation with the people involved, but that didn't happen. So for me, that was a blow. So having nobody to talk about this with, because I don't really have friends or family where I'm at, just my daughters, and I don't always dump on my kids, right? So I reached out to you guys. I vented on Slack because I figured we always talk about being vulnerable and being supportive. I figured, well, here we go. Let's be vulnerable and let's seek out some support. So I did that, and I'm doing better. I mean, I was so proud about the fact that there's probably reasons why they decided to do it the way that they did, and I shouldn't just assume the worst. And I should think about it's probably hard for them too that they had to put an end to the project. So yeah, I've been struggling with that, but I'm good now.
Yeah, I forget.
Let me just say one thing. Yeah, I think you set a great example for the rest of our group, the 20-something that we have, because that's what ultimately we should be about, is what you did, is be there for each other in that kind of sense where you can dump, no judgment, and people say, are supportive. They might say, hey, call me if you need something, or, hey, man, that sucks, I'm with you, or whatever. So, the first one's always the hardest one. Now you're going to make the next guy more comfortable. So I thank you for that. And I think that's good for everybody to know that you've just proven it's a safe environment to do that. And I'm glad you did it, and I'm glad you're better.
Well, Jim, we talked the talk, and I wanted to walk the walk. You know what I mean? So
beautiful.
Yes.
Before you go, Jim, I gotta give a shout out to your sister for her 2 comments and for jumping on last time. Thank you, Gloria, one of our top supporters of the show. So appreciate you. So way to go, Guy. And go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to ask you a question, but your point was spot on about him setting an example and leading by example, and that's what makes a good community, Guy. So we appreciate it because I'm going to need to reach out, I'm sure, in the future, and I'm sure a lot of us will, and get really good insight on things. I can't remember. Did you tell us what like their reasoning was for why they pulled the contract or stopped construction?
Well, yeah. Essentially, the land that we're building on is leased land, like $1 for 10 years type deal. But the owners decided to sell, so we don't have a home anymore. So now we're liquidating the assets, and it's just it's the third time that the president of the venue has tried to build. Like, he's tried at different locations, and COVID happens, and there's always something that seems to happen that killed the project. And he said, I've tried it 3 times, I can't do it anymore. So
gotcha. Yeah. Excellent. Alex, how about you, my friend? What's going on how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. Last week was a bit challenging. Had to help out my mom with some bureaucracy, some government, stuff, and I was kind of tired. Even like I went to watch a soccer game on Sunday. One of my close friends in our fan club was asking me how I was doing, because I was kind of, not as cheating, not as, as engaging as I usually is. And I said, hey, I'm just had a busy week and just, kind of trying to process the whole thing, but I'm okay. Nothing really changes, just day-to-day stuff.
Sometimes that's just a hard enough burden just to kind of, the days can get long, and because you juggle work. I know you have a whole bunch going on in your life, and so on.
I'm managing. I just basically drinking moderation and smoke cigars in moderation. Okay.
There you go. As they say, right? Everything in moderation is good for you, right? It's not bad unless it goes to excess.
Yeah, exactly. I met a guy at my mom's apartment building. He's basically like a custodian / janitor. He was organizing some recycling stuff, in the garage, and I was leaving my mom on Saturday night, and he saw me, and he saw a little brace on my elbow, kind of like a brace that I have, like I have sometimes like that golf elbow, whatever it's called.
Right. Yeah.
And he thought it was a tattoo, and I go, no, not a tattoo, just a thing, to alleviate a little bit of discomfort. And I told him, if you're over 50 and you wake up in the morning and then you don't feel anything, you need to pinch yourself to make sure you're still alive. And he liked my joke, and he told me his name, and we kind of became, friends, if you will, It was kind of fun.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Does he drink beer?
I don't know. I haven't had beer. He was at work, and I was leaving, so I didn't want to, disturb his...
Jim, it's not like, he wasn't right. It wasn't time to day drink.
Exactly. I
came up in conversation.
That's a free period.
Yeah, that's a free period. Exactly. That's in your Stanley water cup, right?
Yeah, I was going to my car, and I was not going to drink and drive anyway. So that was a moot point.
Of course not.
I didn't mean you were going to have a beer with the guy right then and there. I meant maybe it came up in conversation.
We just thought maybe you did, Jim. We weren't sure. I know you've had a lot of struggles. You can work back to work after a long summer of just.
Hey, the kids came today. Yeah, the kids
just a lot. Just a
long. Now and the crazy man.
Yeah, let's hear. Yeah, the crazy man's been in school for a little bit right now. So, crazy man, how's life treating you right now?
It's been a struggle. Truthfully, being in this school system that I am, is that we are down 2 teachers. So there's 3 teachers and 2 assistants taking over 46 students. That's dealing with crosscat. So you're pushing in and pulling out. So definitely it does wear on you when the only break you get is your lunch. And you go in early, you stay late a little bit to pull up and do whatever documentations that you need. A lot of the stuff that I do to break the monotony and the stress is going out for a nice little ruck. So it was a great way to decompress over the weekend, to do a 7-mile ruck through with Bigfoot in Mount Gretna, Pennsylvania. So that was really cool. It's just trying to keep yourself grounded, and you check in with your friends that are suffering or going through difficulties, but you also, those are the same friends that they check up on you. So it's a cycle. So one of the things that I'd like to do to decompress is obstacle course racing. So it's one big dysfunctional family that I have for the last 10 years that they check up on me and I check up on them, because a lot of them deal with injuries or some other type of health issues, such as drugs, such as dealing with eating disorders and so forth. So you more or less support each other throughout the year.
That sounds like F3. I mean, yeah, that's an F3 workout group right there, even though it's specialized in obstacle course stuff. But that's what F3 is basically all about.
Yeah. It is. And
the
problem is with like F3 and GoRuck combined, like
right.
We have
the GoRuck
in our areas,
or the group of guys that does this.
So you have like GoRuck or F3 is on one stream and obstacle course is on the other, and the whole training in itself is on the complete different prism, that you work on different aspects, but in the same aspects, you do support each other. What I love about my with the groups that I'm with is that we all know that we go through difficulties, and you check up on everybody. And I tell them, I said, my phone's on 24/7. If you have a problem, call me. I don't care if it's 2 a.m, 3 a.m. I will answer the phone. Unless, unfortunately, if it is during the school hour, they call me. I will definitely make a phone call during lunch to talk to them. But you're there for each other. I mean, if we can't make this big blue marble that we live on enjoyable and just support each other, then what's the point? Truthfully, what is the point of not helping each other? And how our society is working right now is everybody's out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly true. That's a great point. I mean, that's, I told a buddy of mine I just reconnected with after many years, that saying who's going through some stuff. Basically, my phone's on 24/7. You need anything, you just call. And I think that's, as men, I want to say as men, we need to be there for one another, because, we're all dads. I was looking at us. I mean, we're all dads, and it's, there are unique, moms have unique struggles, dads have unique struggles that only dads can appreciate, and moms have ones that only moms can appreciate. And I say that I make the distinction because I've seen places where, people make comments about dads having struggles, and they're like, oh, well, moms do it all the time. Yes, moms do it all the time, and actually moms are probably better at it than dads, to be quite honest. So we all need to kind of be there for one another in this kind of crazy world we live in. For me, each day is a new day. Like I said, I kind of, I deal with my, chronic stenosis going on, and just trying to figure out, just kind of, just trying to stay in the moment. As my therapist tells me, as I lay on the couch and I grab my tissues. No, I'm only kidding. No, you gotta. What I used to struggle with is living in the moment. You always, and I think people collectively either live looking back or looking forward, and they miss what's right in front of them. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you lose the appreciation of the moment, because as soon as you appreciate the moment, it's gone. So it's that quick. So that's, so just trying to get it, got a short week this week, trying to, was talking with somebody online, and I was like, I just hope I remember to do the show, because today seems like a Monday to me. So the fact that I'm actually here, I thought was a pretty good thing. So just trying to keep trying to do the best for my 2 adult kids. They'll kind of give them the best advice. I mean, you guys all have kind of a little bit. How, Alex, your kids are still in college, right?
No, my younger one is college this year, actually.
Okay. No, so I was just saying. So mine are out working, so it's kind of once a parent, always a parent, guys. Just as an FYI, and anybody listening.
Yeah, hardest job in the world.
Yep.
Job in the world.
It's the only job that you will have your whole life.
Yes.
And I make this shout out to anybody who's watching and wants to chime in. We are, we have this. We're going to do these kind of check-ins, and basically, if anybody wants to chime in and share and needs a venue to vent, that's what this show is about as well. So it's open as well. So here, for you, crazy man. They're just
thanks, Gloria.
That was some of the stuff you were saying earlier. So, but yeah, so I think we all just stay close together. Anybody have, as we wrap up this segment, anybody have any parting words? And then we're going to go to commercial. Then we're going to come back. Hey Jim, check where our youngster is. See if he's.
No, I laid off. I was texting with him. I was putting some pressure on him. He's like, I'm not going to be home in time, and I got classes tomorrow and everything. I said, no worries, dude. Just be on again sometime.
I think one of the things, Ed, is that we need to not really worry about stuff that's out of our control.
Really?
That's one of
really.
Yes.
We shouldn't worry about things that are out of our control.
I mean,
that is so. Hold on. I'm having a moment. Let's not worry about things out of our control. Hold on, I got to write that shit down. That is
Ed.
No.
What are you saying? He's overstaying.
No. The one guy on this channel that doesn't get a freaking break is the crazy man, because
he's giving Bigfoot a problem.
Yes, I'm giving Bigfoot a problem. No, go ahead. Al.
No, I mean,
I'm sorry. Yes, you're absolutely right, bud.
Last year, I mean, I really, at the beginning of probably January, and Ed knows this, is that I really went into some anxiety, worrying about stuff that was out of my control. I made simple mistakes. I mean, I was making mistakes when it came to dealing with parents, with students with different abilities, or if you want to classify special needs, and certain aspects of writing and so forth. I really had a lot of anxiety where I actually ended up talking to somebody because normally I would go out for a ruck or an ultra hike for 3 to 4 hours after school and just let it blow off. But for some reason, I wasn't able to control that. And for me to go talk to somebody took a lot. I mean, we had that stigma because men are supposed to be the strong person in the family. But we're also, in some aspects, the weakest because we all know who runs the house, who runs the family, and we are there to support. And this year, I've went a different route, talking with somebody, dealing with different aspects from medication, and having a whole new look at this year versus last year. And I feel good. And we just have to look at it going, okay, unfortunately, we have to do the work. It is what it is. And let's move forward and not worry about the stuff that's really, truthfully out of our control.
Absolutely. Amen. You're exactly right, man. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So, Alan, it seems so simple, but people struggle with that all the time. I mean, to the point, even with kids that come in, like I have graphs that, or what's the visual term I'm talking about, where there's circles going like this, and the whole outside is out of your control, and then as it shrinks to the middle, I mean, there's not a whole lot that you have total control over. And Guy, that made me think of you, and I don't know what I commented when you told us about the project stopping in Slack, but I think it had something to do with, like, you can't get that angry about it or have such a strong emotion because it really was not in your control. You know what I mean? I don't remember if we talked about that, but I know you have something to say about this.
Well, it just reminded me of losing my home to wildfires. You know, big blow. I spent my whole life working a job I didn't really enjoy just for the sake of, providing for my family. And then after 15 years, poof, everything's gone. Everything I'd worked up to, poof, gone. Right. And then I'm looking back at what happened with our previous network, NGBN, right? I'm contributing. And then one day it's over. And then I was like, here we go again with this organization. I invest my time and energy in it. I'm making connections, building relationships, and then it's gone out of nowhere. Like that seems to be a consistent theme in my life. And that's why I'm struggling with that. So that's why I had to vent.
But you know what? Hold on for 1 second. But that's good that you vented, in the sense that in my experiences, the ones who vent and the ones who kind of get animated and angry and whatever, whether it's angry, sad, cussing, whatever, those are the ones that are going to be okay. It's the ones that sit quiet in the corner, letting it stew until the last minute. Those are the ones that, somebody steps on the branch snaps, and that's the end. And then they make that irreversible knee-jerk reaction that we then all sit and talk about later. So I appreciate you venting in our group. So you've opened it to say, hey, it's okay to do that.
And you mentioned all the relationships and networks and people, and really that's the most positive thing that I have out of everything, in terms of reconnecting with Ed and just opening up those lines of communication. I wouldn't even be sitting here with you guys. I wouldn't even know you. Know you.
Right, exactly. And that's why we spun it off into what we did, is because we all came together for a reason. Obviously, it wasn't for that first one, but there's a reason we're all together right now.
No, the reason was the same. It was just one little element.
No, it wasn't all the same. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you, Jim. I'm messing with
Maybe I want to talk about politics now.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We're gonna go get our daily. We're gonna go get a Alex tech tip. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk. What, Alex? What, did you have something? Alex, did you have something? I might have missed your hand. Did you have anything? Final remarks?
I was gonna say, as a final words, what I appreciate, for example, as far as we're talking about our relationship with our kids. Okay, when you kind of give kids an advice, but not like pushing advice, just kind of recommending something that they would be benefiting from, and then eventually, after quite a few years, they tell you, "Oh, you know what? You were right."
Absolutely. My mom.
Winner for tonight.
Yes, I know my mom. Tonight. My mom is watching on Instagram, Alex, and she's saying, "You're right, Alex. You're right, aren't you, Mom? I know you are."
Yeah, I have a short, perfect example. When my older one, when she was in high school and she was like in 11th grade, like picking colleges and whatnot, and she told me, "Hey, Dad, I want to go and study like in New York or Boston, like East Coast. I love New York and Boston." I go, "Okay." She goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, really, but you would need to take a student loan because I'm not killing myself paying your out-of-state tuition." Okay, so she listened to me. She went California route, UC and all that stuff, and then I helped her out with tuition. And then after she finished her college, she got her degree from UCLA. She told me, "Hey, Dad, you know what? It was good that I listened to you because my friends have to pay like $1,000 a month toward student loan, and I don't have to do it. I can contribute to my 401k, save money for a vacation, build my saving account." And I told her, "Well, you know what? sometimes, when I give you advice and you listen, it's actually good. I'm not pushing my advice, but it's good that you did listen to me. Okay, so that was kind of
sometimes we know something. It's not.
There's hope for us. There's hope for us
Yep.
fathers with younger children. Then I hope.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. On that note, gentlemen, let's take a break and go get our tech tip from Alex.
This tip explains how to use passphrases for extra security. What we call a password doesn't have to be a word at all. A whole phrase or sentence, a passphrase, offers more security. I will explain how and why you should use them. What is a passphrase? Using passphrases involves starting with a memorable phrase, and I'll explain in the next section, boiling down to a collection of letters, numbers, and symbols. How to create a passphrase? A passphrase is simply a phrase or sentence that you will use instead of word or set of characters. Most password systems don't allow the space character, so you'll typically capitalize the first letter of each word instead or insert a punctuation mark such as the dash between words. The key to creating a strong passphrase for a given website is to use something that's meaningful to you, but that also would not be easily guessed. This tip for a great show called Decades is brought to you by Alex and Tech.
So, Alex, like pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not a good password.
No. If you want to get hacked, yes, it is.
Thank you again, Alex, for your text tip and your fine promotion of our show. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria. Always appreciate your support as always.
Thank you, Gloria. I hope
Yes.
you're not the only
Thank
one
you.
watching.
No, we've got about 20 plus right now watching, Jim.
Hey,
So you need to
So
start
when
whipping. You need
Rubio's
to,
away, we get more people.
well,
Yeah.
actually, it's kind of funny. Hold on. Here's the irony of this whole thing. I'm glad you said something. Well, Rubio is currently watching on Instagram, and there are 15 people watching on his X account and 2 watching on Decades.
yeah,
So I don't know what to say about that. So
yeah.
yes, they're using his tools, but they come to see us.
Nice.
But yes, so Gloria, thank you for watching and contributing and everything like that. And always appreciate it. And talk to whenever you want to be on the show. You're more than welcome. So, all right, guys. So that was a good topic. So let's talk about the January 6th insurrection, riot, Capitol tours, whatever you want to call it.
Protest.
That's whatever. If that's my, I was thinking the other day. I said, okay, so let's say the Proud Boys and Antifa and whoever was there, and that's not the debate for right now. Let's say they did break in, but let's say they got close to Pelosi, who I believe is going to be protected by the Capitol Police, and Pence, who's protected by the Secret Service. Let's say they got close to make a difference. What plays out? Who wants to go first? I have a thought, but I want to say, what do you think happens if they get
Body bags.
Yeah, because thank you. Because I was thinking about it. The Secret Service will use deadly force to protect the president and vice president and anybody under their thing.
I truly am surprised that no one actually died by the Capitol Police. I mean, if I was one of those individuals protecting Congress and the House and so forth, I would have emptied.
But yeah, that's why you're not there, Crazy Man. That's why you're called Crazy Man, and that's why they don't give you guns.
No,
and that's why you're not a Capitol Policeman.
You entered a federal building. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're on the left, right, or in the middle. Once you cross that line, if you're trespassing or something is illegal to do, you're going against the law. I'm sorry.
But here's the absolutely agree. However, there are some people that think, and in speaking to Guy today, and Guy, you just know what you've read and stuff. It was a harmless Capitol tour that they broke some glasses and a person died. and stuff. But I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not passing. Just
what's the
my
difference?
My thought is, did they those that went on January 6th? And my thought, what I was thinking was, those who went on January 6th, did they think it through?
No,
because they're supposedly the objective was to stop the certification of the election, which would have meant that they had to have gotten to Pence and.
Oh no!
Oh, we lost Ed.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
What are we gonna do now? I was gonna say, you know, I'm the odd man out being the Canadian here. So obviously American news trickles over to Canada, but I had to reach out to Rubio for this before I came on today. And he kind of gave me the Cole's notes, but I don't know what happens if they get caught. Like I heard there was no weapons brought in by those guys. Yeah. And it sounds to me like they basically had the doors open to them and guided through the building. So I don't know.
Well, I think some of the stuff that they used whatever that was around. So like fire extinguishers that break glass. They used flagpoles inside the Capitol to do stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I think once you cross that in, you're all committed. Whatever happens to you happens to you. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're on the left or right. You think it's wrong. Our policy on government is a 3-tier. So you have the 3 different levels of government to make sure everything is in place. So unfortunately, I have no feelings for those individuals that got caught.
Do you guys hear me now?
And they didn't think it through.
See my beautiful face? Did you guys miss me too much? Hopefully not.
No.
I was trying to take your job.
Yeah, well, no, I think actually you've done that before. I think Alan was beating you out this time. No, but here's
no.
What I'm thinking is, what did they think was? I guess that's the conversation point. Is what did those people involved in there? What was the end game? Were they going to kill Pence? Okay,
no.
You're going to assassinate a vice president. I don't think that's going to happen. Were you going to kill Pelosi? No. What were they going to do? Which poses some interesting conversation. Yes, Jim.
Nature boy.
Well, I have multiple thoughts. So
go ahead.
You know, like you, when I saw the topic, I was like, "Oh my god!" But I also feel like we had talked about this incident more than one show, right?
I'm sure we have. Yeah, not in this aspect, but yes, we've talked about it in different in different veins. Yes.
I'm kind of confused why these thoughts were coming into your head, like these what ifs, what are their motives or whatever, which is fine. I get that. But I don't know how you can lump everybody, every single person that was there, because I think when you have chaos, people are just jumping on board. Oh, it's fun. Let's run through the boat. Okay. Alan, you're nuts, because if you opened up and unloaded on somebody, you wouldn't have walked out of there. You would have been dead yourself. So if you were willing to do that,
but Jim, he was talking as if he was a Capitol Police or Secret Service.
As a Capitol Police officer, you are Secret Service. Your main focus and main job is to protect those individuals, like them or not. So
that's all fine and dandy, but I disagree where I mean, obviously there's a level of judgment there. Like you and your colleagues are going to have to make that decision on where the line is being crossed. To me, it didn't seem like.
I think it's crossed because you're entering a.
Well, as soon as you do that, you're going to have to really trust that your fellow officers have really good judgment. Otherwise, you're going to take 3 in the back. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you can kind of see it, kind of to Alan's point, it's kind of in the middle where you saw the Capitol Police that were outside, that weren't with the groups that were inside. You know, we're trying to hold back them from getting in, and they weren't using deadly force.
Right
now, they weren't protecting any individual. They weren't on protective details to do that. So the Capitol Police, you could sit there and say, maybe, maybe not. Secret Service, I would have not. If it would have gotten close enough, they would have probably. I don't think they would have necessarily used deadly force, but they would have threatened to use deadly force. And then
if
what
they
happened?
would have entered the house, there would have been bloodshed.
All right.
So
So
my question
I'll
is,
answer your
what
question.
did
I'll
they think-
answer
what did
your
they think was going to
question.
happen? What did those people going in? What was the? Was it just to kind of disrupt, but it would still take place? I guess I'm trying to understand in my small brain, what was the end game for the group?
Big action.
I don't think there was an end game. I think they were just shooting from the hips. I think you had
Alex, what do you think? I mean, Alex hasn't chimed in. Alex, what do you think?
Well, I think to me, the group that actually breached the Capitol building and went inside, I don't think they really had anything like concrete to do. They just wanted to be inside and to show off and to walk around and to do just like a theatrical performance. Not really trying to kill Pelosi or Pence or anybody else. It was just they didn't even know whether they would be able to get in. They were just kind of like, okay, let's try it. Oh, okay, it did work. So let's just roam around and be on camera, okay, and see what happens. That's what I think.
I agree with Alex.
Is that all you wanted to say?
I do, because and it's not like they all had a meeting beforehand and said, okay, I propose we get all the way to Pelosi and kill her. I don't think that happened.
Well, no,
so
I don't
think people were. It was chaos.
Right, but it's okay. I see what you're saying, and the fact is that supposedly some of them did have organized meetings on how they were going to do this, and if the theory is that they were doing this to stop the certification of the election. If they would have, I guess that's what I'm trying to see is, would that have ever, through their means, was that ever going to even be a possibility?
No.
I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
The election would have, the certification of the election would have went on as planned, because I think McCain has more morals, more fortitude to say no.
You mean Pence? You mean Pence?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, McCain's dead, by the way. Yeah.
Well, the whole certification could have been delayed, if it was really close to, like somebody got close to Pence and they had to evacuate him and put him like in some kind of safe room or safe location. But it would still happen, So so that's why even if their goal was to prevent certification from happening, at best it would have delayed it. It would still would have happened, So. And also, for example, as far as I know,
sorry, Gloria, but I'm just trying to get to the root of understanding.
Oh,
go ahead.
Allegedly or apparently, Pelosi was kind of told like the day before that something might have happened or might have been organized, and she was advised to use extra security, extra Capitol Police, and then she decided not to, or National Guards. I mean, whoever. And she said, "Hey, it's okay."
Right.
I mean, she didn't believe anything was going to happen, although she was told that it was some kind of a meetings between people or some kind of intel that was telling otherwise.
Right, and my whole question, like I said, what I was thinking was, what was really their end game? Did they think they were going to get Pence not to certify the election and keep Trump in office through doing what they did? And I just didn't see any means where that is. And now we've got a whole bunch of J6ers sitting in jail. They're sitting in jail for that.
Bringing it back up. I mean, look at it. The most that they had is they trespassed on the Capitol. But if you look at the Black Lives Matter, how much protesting, how much rioting, how much burning of different cities during
and federal buildings,
matter, during the January 6th. There
Well,
was
that's
destruction.
You're absolutely right, Alan, and that's a whole nother topic that we don't have time to get into because we try to keep this to an hour. We can do that another time. Yeah, go ahead, Guy.
I don't have anything to say. I don't
Come
know what
on.
we pointed at.
Oh.
So, yeah. Well,
I mean,
we've also got stuff.
How much does Canada look at America and going, "What a bunch of idiots"?
Well, I mean, Canada's not doing much better right now. I'm serious.
Yeah.
We've got our own problems.
No, but actually, that's a good point. That's a good point, Guy. So, what is? I know Canada has its issues as well, and if you follow international politics at all, there's a very strong right. There's even a strong right movement that's gaining strength in Germany right now, and it's they're talking about back to Hitler time.
Ooh.
So what is what do the Canadians think? I mean, what is it's like? Oh Jesus, those Americans, that's a shit show down there. Stay north.
I can't speak to what Canadians are saying. Earlier, I just said I didn't have family or friends to speak to, so I'm not going to pretend I know what the Canadian voice is. But
You have to have some friends, Guy.
Do you follow the news? Do you read the paper?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I watch, what is it, right wing? I like the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, those guys. So my views are very one-sided. But I think that the Democratic Party in the States has kind of gone to shit, personally. I think that they're the woke culture, and it's gone too far left from what I can see. I mean, the open borders and the cost of everything. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know American politics, but from what I'm hearing, it's not great.
Yes,
It's not a shit show here. No, it is. Let's call it what it is. Yes, Jimmy. Yes, Nature Boy.
Ed, how many people were estimated to be part of the riot or break-in or whatever?
I think it was the biggest riot of all time because it came from the biggest speech and congregation of all time. I think it was bigger than Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech.
But not everybody that was in attendance broke in, right?
I'm sorry.
Correct.
I'm sorry, Jim. I was being very sarcastic and facetious right there. I don't know what the numbers were. I don't know what the numbers were.
I mean, we'd have no idea. We don't know if it's 2,000 or 10,000 or 500.
I'm sure Google knows, but I don't off the top of my head.
So my point is, how can you pose a question whether or not these people knew what their mission was or whatever when you're talking about 5,000 people? Like, not all 5,000 people, I'm certain, had the same mission in mind or end goal or whatever you want to say.
I agree 100%. I hear what you're saying 100%. I agree with that. But there were ones that were more organized. The Proud Boys and some of those other right-wing groups that have been associated.
So they rallied up the militia. They rallied up a lot of people, and they got them to follow them in. They got them to follow them in.
Was it so? Okay, so
there might have been one crazy enough and armed enough to do something. I don't know. You can't say.
So here's
Alan's right. They would have shot him down.
Here's my question. Hold on for 1 second, Alan. Here's my question. So, okay, I hear exactly what you're saying, and I get your point. So then if I'm hearing it, then this would be similar to the Black Lives Matters when they were burning the streets of Portland, Oregon. Kind of, sort of. It was just that was kind of more of a left-wing protest where they're looting and burning.
I don't understand what your question is in comparing them. Are you saying what was their mission? What was the Black Lives Matter mission?
My question is, then why storm the Capitol and destroy and break the glass and do what happened? Why do that?
To make a statement.
So
we can rally our troops and pose a threat.
Okay, fair enough. I got you.
And then a lot of idiots got on board and were like,
so it was just a thing. It was just a thing to to basically make a point and say, we're here. Okay, I can buy that. So there was really.
I have no idea. Really.
But no, that's good. That's a good theory. Yes, Alan, you were talking.
So Google says between 20 and 26,000 protested at the Capitol for January 6th.
Okay,
Yeah, but that doesn't tell me how many
Went in.
Right. I don't think somebody was sitting there with it. Hold on, like it's Disney, you know.
A clicker.
Hold on a second.
Ed McAndrew. Dude, in today's day and age, I'm sure the government has a pretty good idea how many people are in.
Hold on. We have as many. No, they stopped. You know the dude with the horns? I forget what his name is. The dude with the horns. They stopped him. We got too many inside, man. You got to wait a second. I got to wait for somebody to come out. Hold on. All right, you can go in.
You know all the characters. Good guy with the horns. Okay.
I forget. He actually had the shot. What they call him, the shaman dude or the shaman man, or.
I mean,
too close attention to
that. 6, Jim. I live in the middle. I live 40 miles from.
A kayak rider or a ruck. Go on a ruck with Alan.
He has.
Don't keep looking at those videos.
I have rucked with Alan back before my back really started giving me problems. I
go look for the bald eagle. Go look for the bald eagle.
Anyway,
I truthfully, as Ed was saying, I don't really think they thought this through, because every time you have somebody that has been found convicted, they've lost everything. I mean, they lost their jobs, they lost families. So I think they were doing a lot of this stuff by shooting from the hips and thinking that nothing was going to happen to them, because if you look previously during the Black Lives Matter protests, that nobody got in trouble for anything for protesting and burning cities.
Sorry, Gloria.
We got to move on. We're a loser.
Sorry, I'll tell you this much though. Our viewership is going up. We're like our highest number since.
Texting everybody, guys. We got them. They're head over heels for this political stuff.
Anyway, we are coming up on the hour.
Oh
so
my God!
We're gonna go around the horn. I'm gonna start with Guy, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. We're gonna give your final thoughts on whatever you want on tonight's show. We talked about things or stuff your final thoughts on whatever. Guy, what say you, my friend?
I guess I'll just say this: if you're going through some struggles, a rough time, just don't be afraid to reach out, man. That's what I had to do, and I felt a lot better afterwards. So find that support group, find somebody that you feel you could trust, and reach out.
Excellent, Keith. Thank you, man. You're a special dude. Jimmy, Jimmy the Nature Boy, what do you got?
I just want to piggyback on what Guy says. I think I'm finding myself part of a number of communities that are really just one big community for me. And just knowing that I have that kind of support around me where I can make a phone call or a text and get, either one of you guys or one of the other many people in our community on and bounce some things off them or vent to them a little bit means a lot for me. So reach out to people.
Great stuff, Jimmy. How about you, Alex? What do you got for me, my friend?
I was actually glad that I was the first one who saw Guy's message on Slack, and I sent him like a reassurance kind of short message, and then I did reach out to Craig Hannem, and he reached out back, and he was able to give Guy more help, professional help, compared to myself. But I was glad that I was able to be the first one to sort of spread the message, and I was thinking about Jim, at the time, and then was kind of, I was freaked out a bit, but then, everything went fine after all, and I'm glad.
But that's awesome. It started the motion going, and that's what we're here for. That's why we do what we do.
Yep.
Crazy man, what are your final words for tonight?
I think I agree with Guy, is that you need to check on your friends and also be vulnerable and to just let people know that you are suffering. I do work with a lot of different veterans, fire, as well as veterans and police, that you need to be honest with yourself that you are going through this. You don't have to go through this tough guy persona and say, hey, yes, I do need help. And you and I talk throughout the week, as well as I talk with a lot of other people. You have to be honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Very good. Very good. And just kind of my final thoughts are, I just want to thank everybody, all you guys, for being open and honest in a public forum like this. I think it helps people feel more comfortable in being open and honest. I want to thank everybody, from Gloria to the 20 people watching here to the few people on Instagram. Thank you for your support. It's truly appreciated. Keep talking. Keep being open. As I said, help is no longer a 4-letter word, and that's the only way we have to be. The world's crazy right now, especially the U.S., and we got to be there for one another and diminish some of the crazy. No offense, crazy man, but we got to do that, and just And before we say goodnight, I've got to pick my panelist of the night. Me? It's
No.
not.
Ed, where's Ed?
Our
Where's
Canadian.
Ed?
It's
Our Canadian. Our favorite
I can't point
Canadian.
her.
why is it? Give it our. Why are we giving?
Yes.
It, all right.
Do I get a shirt?
You get a Canadian. No, you get a woohoo. You get a cheers. What I want to tell everybody, as I like to say,
Hey.
you get some Rubio. Oh, here, actually, Key, you know what you get? Rubio, who is still watching, is going to send you a free order of poutine. Oh, he's watching. Somebody's either hijacked his Rubio Method account or he's watching on Instagram.
Oh, I thought he's going to give like a special deal on long snap.
No. If there's besides not liking me, Rubio hates poutine more. So anyway, I want to tell everybody, let's raise a glass to Guy for our panelists.
Mine's empty.
That's all right. So is mine. Have tough conversations. Keep moving forward. Stay strong, and we love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.